Remember when Manchester United announced Michael Carrick as interim head coach just a few months ago? Despite United being in a tight battle for top four, expectations were low, right? Not because no one rated Carrick, but because the job of an interim boss is basically just to steady the ship, drop as few points as possible, right? Usually an interim boss is not coming in because things are going well, right? Well, fast forward to now, to present day, and it's, 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw since Carrick took over at Manchester United. But all the talk has not really been about his stellar results or record breaking results, if you really want to go that far, which we're going to look at a little later on. All the talk is still about whether or not Michael Carrick should be given the permanent job and what other managers are out there. Roy Keane, Ashley Young discussed this recently for Sky as well. Well, today I'm going to discuss it a little bit with you guys as well. I'm going to take a closer look at Michael Carrick, what he's done so far, what he's all about, and maybe put forth an argument for why I think Manchester United should consider him for the permanent job, should consider giving him a contract. So we're going to dive into all that today, you guys. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get stuck in. So, despite popular belief, Carrick isn't simply just a counterattacking manager, despite what people might want to think, right? He uses very fluid formations. So while he often starts out with a 4-2-3-1, the shape is actually fluid, constantly shifts whether we're in possession, out of possession, build up, whatever you want to call it. We can create overloads in wide areas to cause confusion. It's a 4-2-4 at times when we're kicking the ball long, and it's oftentimes when we're building out from the back. It is a 3-2-5, typically with one fullback kind of pushing high up. We saw this when he was here. Thank you, Y Scout, for some of the diagrams, by the way. We saw this when he was a first interim spell a few years back, pushing up with a 3-2-5, and when he was a Carrick taker. Now, he oftentimes with this will utilize asymmetrical fullbacks, overload those wide areas well, with inverted wingers, overlapping fullbacks to create quality chances, to create those numbers, to cause confusion, like I said, focusing on controlling the game through intelligent build-up, aggressive pressing as well, but often exploiting some central areas with runners from deep. Now, we saw this at Middlesbrough as well, using the similar kind of triangles and wide areas. And again, like I said, when he was interim boss a few years back for 4 games, we actually saw him do this as well, using Dalot, Rashford, and Ronaldo to create these triangles to draw opponents in, but also get numbers in and around. He's done it this season as well. We've seen this get us out of trouble and kind of dominate against Arsenal and City as well. Remember Rayan Cherki just getting cooked by the triangles that we were creating, you guys. Carrick's known for that. He gets a lot of his inspiration from Spanish style influences here. You can see it again as well. Another match from a few years back. Again, that same match against Arsenal. Again, Telles, Sancho, Ronaldo creating those numbers, and you can see on the far right, Dalot, Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes also creating those numbers as well. Carrick is known for this. He's not just a kick it long. I'd argue that he's actually more tactically developed than even like Jurgen Klopp, for instance, because let's face it, kick and rush, not necessarily a tactic. Now, on the way he sees the game, this is what Carrick had to say, and we've talked about this before. He is all about looking for spaces. Spaces to attack is really his main focus when he watches the game. He says whether that's looking at how to attack when the keeper has the ball, where the space is, how we can build up through the pitch. It's also about having an idea of how we can hurt the opposition from all areas. That's my first thought, really. My instinct takes me to that. And maybe that has something to do with midfielder. Maybe it has a lot to do with the fact that he was a class midfielder for United. But again, like I said, he also does take a lot of his inspiration from Xavi's Barcelona tactics as well. Triangles, utilizing space, finding the space, exploiting it, moving into it, creating it with those numbers, with the movement as well. Carrick is all about that. Off the ball, you see something a little different as well. So like under Erik ten Hag and even under Ruben Amorim, United were way too open in midfield, way too easy to play through. Carrick recognized this, and he started life at United this season really just keeping things simple, right? Starting with the basics, making us difficult to break down. We've often seen this 4-4-2 shape in defense with Bruno joining the striker to kind of press from the front to create a two. We've also seen that little bit of a high press, the mid block as well. His teams, under his Carrick's teams, they do press high initially, but again, they will drop into this mid block to cut off the passing lanes. We've seen this as well, too, against Arsenal. Really making it compact, really not allowing Arsenal to find any space to get a ball into the central zones. And even when they moved it wide, where we forced them to, we were quickly able to close down that space again and just smother them and basically just limit them. And that's his whole thing. Not only exploiting space with the ball, but cutting off the space off the ball as well. And I think tactically, Carrick brings a solid blend of old school, vintage United, that kind of counterattack, attack, kind of never say die. He brings that, also a little bit of that compact pragmatism in defense a little bit, but he also brings a little bit of the forward-thinking Spanish style passing use of space as well. It's possession, but it's possession with purpose. The goal is not just to keep the ball, but it's to create high-quality chances, using possession as a tool to break lines, find attacking openings. We've seen that a lot under him. He's kept things simple, I think, where other managers have perhaps overcomplicated tactics and things. I think Ruben Amorim probably tried to change a little too much too quickly. Ten Hag, you can say he tried to do things with players that really didn't suit the style. Ralph Rangnick, as interim, also probably tried to change too much. Carrick has not, it's not that he's changed a lot, because it is drastically different than what Amorim doing, but he's just gone back to basics as well. And his demeanor as well. If you want to look past tactics and onto just his man management, his demeanor, and his personality, that's also drawn praise as well, because Carrick instills and kind of emits this calmness, this quiet kind of confidence and strength, this strong belief in his players as well. He plays an attractive, dominant style, focusing on the movement, exploiting the space, but again, he also gives them freedom and trust to solve problems, to express themselves, rather than just kind of force them into a rigid system, kind of like what we've seen from Pep or even Amorim to an extent. This creates a bit of unpredictability, a bit of that individuality in the attack, and that, I think, is what also enables his teams to cause a bit of confusion for the opposition, especially when you've got multiple players in wide areas, because you don't know what's going to happen. He seems to have a way of communicating his tactics effectively and seamlessly, simply, almost, to just getting his players not only to see the old things in effective ways, but to see new things in simple ways as well. Remember a few months back when he was given the job, we did that video on what you can expect, what his tactics were like. I'll put that in the link for you guys. But remember, a lot of the quotes we looked at in that video as well were from players that he managed during his time at Middlesbrough. And the one word that pretty much everybody used to describe him is calm. And when that trickles down from the top, you can see that kind of radiating. He doesn't believe in micromanaging players. He trusts them, like I said, with some freedom. And you can almost see that trickle into the squad as well. Against West Ham, for instance, we didn't really seem like heads were dropping. We saw a little bit of resilience. We saw a little bit of belief that we're going to get another chance. It was the same against Arsenal when they equalized as well. There was just a mindset that, it's fine. We're going to be fine. It kind of feels like when Ollie was in charge, if you guys remember that, there's almost this belief that no matter what, we'll get another chance. We'll even get another goal. That we haven't seen in a long time, almost since Sir Alex in some ways. Don't underestimate the power of that sort of belief, that sort of mindset, that sort of collective mentality in a dressing room. So there's another factor that I do want to talk about, and that's this kind of what I call the X factor, something that you want from your manager at United, but something that is hard to pinpoint. It's one of those things, you know it when you see it. You can call it like risk-taking, chasing, like, for instance, when we're chasing the game against West Ham, there's that risk of, let's take off a defender, we're going to bring on some attackers. Under Amorim, it was, hey, we're up, we're going to just bring on defenders. No matter what, it was always, let's bring on defenders. It was under Jose, it was park the bus no matter what. If we were up a goal, park the bus. We're chasing a game, Carrick takes a risk, again, taking off a little bit of solidity at the back and bringing on more forward-thinking players. Like even playing Dorgu as a left winger also can be seen as a bit of a risk, especially when he opted to start Cunha from the bench for those first few matches. You guys remember that. Dorgu was starting on the left wing, Cunha was on the bench. It worked too. Cunha subbed on, brought energy and fight before scoring the winner against Arsenal. That's the X factor that I'm talking about. Same could be said for using Šeško as a super sub. It's an expensive striker. Strikers are built on confidence. Maybe Carrick understands that. Keep him hungry. Understand he's a little young. He's not the finished article, but let him get on. Let him get those opportunities. I trust his ability to make the most of the chances he's going to get. Bring him on, nab a goal, get his confidence up. I mean, and we saw that ahead. I mean, it has paid off. Under Amorim, Benjamin Šeško had just 2 goals, but as an impact player under Michael Carrick, the 22-year-old has found the back of the net 5 times in 7 games, including one-touch shoot winner against Fulham and an absolute pearler in stoppage time against West Ham to salvage a point in what really could have been a loss. We've seen it with Ahmad recently as well. He was a man possessed when he came on against Aston Villa, really, and that was because he came off the bench, or he was finally getting that start, right? I think that is the kind of X factor I'm talking about. Those decisions that Michael Carrick has put forth, keeping the players hungry, maybe even getting them a little angry. We used to see that from Sir Alex Ferguson as well. I mean, there's a glimpse of Sir Alex in that. So that then when these players come off the bench, there's a fire to them. They've got that dog in them. They come off angry. They want to prove a point. And even if that point is to prove Carrick wrong, that kind of thing sometimes is how some players, you get the best out of some players. Some players, it's an arm around the shoulder. Some players is you get them mad. Sir Alex used to do that all the time. So you have tactics, you've got personality, you've got that X factor, even United DNA. I think that it's all great, right? But what's most important to me is getting over the line, securing 3 points. You know, you can't ignore a major factor for consideration. Unlike potential managers, Carrick's actually proven that he can do this in the Premier League, right? Did you really think I wasn't going to look at his numbers of what he's done since he took over? 7-game unbeaten run that included dominant wins over likely league winners Arsenal, supposedly the greatest manager ever and the most expensive squad ever, Man City as well. 3-1 victory recently over very, very experienced, like trophy-laden CV Unai Emery. Even scrappy points against Fulham, Everton, Palace, and West Ham. Like, those are the kind of scrappy matches you're going to maybe have to nick a 1-0 or something. In the 21 games prior to Carrick's appointment as interim boss, United were in 7th place. We'd won 8, lost 5, drew 8 as well. We averaged just 1.5 points per game, and we also dropped 14 points from winning positions. In the 9 games under Carrick, we've gone 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, averaged 2.4 points per game, nearly a point per game higher, haven't dropped any points from winning positions whatsoever, and we are semi-comfortably in 3rd right now. He's kept opposition to 0.5 open play XG as well, so we're not conceding a whole lot of chances from open play. And we've won each time that he's done that as well. Each time that we've done that, he's won the match. He's the first United manager to win his first 6 home games in charge. He is just the 4th Premier League manager to do it as well. He's doing better than big managers right now in the league. Guys like Arne Slot, Eddie Howe, even Liam Rowe Sr. at Chelsea. Carrick is doing better than that. So, but again, you don't want to ignore like the United factor as well. And I think that to me is the final characteristic that I think Carrick possesses that none of the other candidates have. He is a Man United man through and through. How many times have we talked about the fact that there's no pressure like being at United, right? Whether you're a player or a manager or even a coach or even the tea lady or anything, there's no pressure like that. The standards, the expectations, the scrutiny, the relentless onslaught of media agenda that really borders on abuse, it's the toughest job in football. And Carrick has carried that weight, both as a class player for the club. You guys remember this. I mean, this is a beautiful night, right? But also as an interim boss as well. He's carried that weight and he's come out on top, and he's got people around him that can understand what that's like as well. He's got a proven track record, I think, both as a player and as manager of handling the pressure that has seen half a dozen managers come and go in the last 12 years at this club. Managers that are big managers have been swallowed by that pressure or just failed to kind of adapt a little bit as well. Of course, there are questions that we don't have answers for yet, right? How does he balance competing on 4 fronts? Because we're only in the Premier League since he took over. United, we're not in anything right now. So how would he handle playing in the Champions League against some of the best teams in the world? When it comes to recruitment, how will he contribute to identifying talent and gets playing a role in the recruitment process as well in terms of bringing in new signings? How would he handle bigger egos potentially in the dressing room when we get some big players in there potentially? How would he handle a title challenge? We've seen Arsenal crumble under the weight of the title challenge, constantly looking over their shoulder, hearing footsteps, and bottling the league. How would Carrick handle something like that again? Et cetera, et cetera. These are factors that I'm not worried about, but these are just factors that remain to be seen how he's going to adapt because he hasn't been in that situation. He's done very well at Middlesbrough, but it yet to be seen what he's going to do at United. I think the biggest worry I hear in that regard right now with considering Carrick is a lot of people are worried about having a repeat of what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole was here for nearly 3 seasons, and we finished third, we finished second, we got to the Europa League final. He went on amazing unbeaten runs, winning streaks. He had Pep's number, and you got to remember that was a different squad, different ownership at the time, a whole different recruitment structure behind him, literally no structure if you want to get technical about it. So it's not the same. And I know that it's human nature. We want to find, our brains want to find the one similarity from the past and apply it to a somewhat similar situation in the present and kind of try to create a link. But it's not necessarily the case. One similarity does not automatically mean it's going to go the same way. I'm not saying that it will go the opposite way and will be an instant success and we're going to win Champions Leagues and yield trophies, whatever. I'm not saying it will. I obviously can't predict the future. No one can. But I'm just saying it's not just going to be a repeat of Ollie's tenure. Like, it's just not. And honestly, I think even Arsenal would, when was the last time they were in a final? Arsenal would have bitten your hand off to achieve what Ollie did when he was here. Let's just be honest right now. But after Ten Hag, after Ashworth, after Amorim, and all the other mistakes, Ineos can't afford to make any more bad decisions, especially bad big decisions, especially ones that could potentially derail the club's trajectory or just rewind the clock back another year because it was bad. We've already had to do that now with 2 managers. I think an argument could be made, given the difficulties that the World Cup poses this summer when it comes to appointing any international team managers, because let's face it, it's not ideal to have to wait till after a World Cup to get someone like a Tuchel or an Ancelotti, and they're not going to just quit months ahead of the World Cup to come. I think it's thrown a spanner in the works, right? There's a drought of really quality available options elsewhere. No one's really talking about Xavi anymore. No one really wants Xabi Alonso because of the Liverpool connection. Who else is out there that's free right now? Enzo Maresca? No thanks. There's not a whole lot of options. I think like a 2-year contract to start for Michael Carrick would not be the worst option. In fact, I think it would be a wise option. He's playing a system that seems to be getting a lot out of these players. He's playing a system that fans like to see. Doesn't mean he's perfect. There's a lot to go over. We can talk about that in another video. Maybe we'll go into a case against Michael Carrick. So hit that like button. Let me know if that's something you want to see. But whatever option Ineos goes with, it needs to be decided soon. So we can go about our summer business. We can get the plan in place in the best way possible. Have a clear picture of what the next steps look like. Potential signings can know who they're going to be working with and whatnot, and what the tactics are going to be like. And that's just the manager, and then you've got the whole coaching staff as well. We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out quick. And I do think that we can do a lot worse than giving Michael Carrick a 2-year contract. Who knows? If it doesn't go well in a year, or half a year even, if you want to go the full pessimistic route, everybody who was coaching at the World Cup will be pretty much chilling. They might be tempted to take a break from that. Maybe Tuchel, Ancelotti, Nagelsmann can be tempted to step away from those duties. If you make it all the way to the year and maybe we just decide it's not going to work, Luis Enrique will be out of his contract at PSG in 2027, so there's an option as well. He seems to be a lot of people's top choice, but I think the case can be made for giving Carrick at least a 2-year contract. I think I've laid out some pretty good arguments, but I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. If there's any factors that I missed, any arguments against, I want to know what you think. Make sure, though, most importantly, hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new as well, and go ahead and hype a couple of those old videos because it does help the channel as well. And please consider checking out the memberships. It's a great way to support the channel. Plus, it allows you to get really involved in the content. It's not just emojis and badges. Go check out the membership perks and learn all about that kind of stuff. We've got WhatsApp groups, everything for you guys. And go check out the United vs. Everybody store. There's always sales going on, tons of one-of-a-kind gear as well. But that's the case for Michael Carrick to be given the job permanently, maybe on a 2-year contract. We'll see how it goes. Be sure to come back. I'll probably throw out another one for the case against Michael Carrick because, again, if you've been watching the channel, you know that I have had my criticisms. and my things that I do think he needs to work on. So maybe those will be featured in that video. But until next time, you guys, thanks for checking this out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.